Piaget proposed that learning is largely an individual enterprise. Growing children do most of the mental work themselves. In contrast, Vygotsky believed that the adults in a society foster children's learning in an intentional and somewhat systematic manner. They continually engage children in meaningful and challenging activities and help them perform those activities successfully. Because Vygotsky emphasized the importance of society and culture in promoting learning, his theory is sometimes referred to as the sociocultural perspective. Despite his emphasis on the social mediation of learning by adults or more knowledgeable peers, Vygotsky, like Piaget, believed that what a child or adolescent learns is ultimately their own construction. Learning theory informed by Vygotsky's work is therefore also sometimes referred to as social constructivism. Teachers can apply social constructivism in several ways. To Vygotsky, both self-talk, children talking to themselves out loud, and inner speech, children talking to themselves mentally, have a similar purpose. By talking to themselves, children learn to guide and direct their own behaviors through difficult tasks and complex maneuvers much the same way that adults have previously guided them. Self-talk and inner speech, then, are examples of the internalization process. Children gradually internalize the directions that they have initially received from those around them, so that they can eventually give themselves directions. For example, as students work on complex mathematical equations, a middle years mathematics teacher gives students a mnemonic, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," that they might repeat to themselves to help them remember the order in which they should perform various operations. Vygotsky proposed that children learn little from performing tasks that they can already do independently. Instead, they develop primarily by attempting tasks they can accomplish only in collaboration with a more competent individual, that is, when they attempt tasks within their zone of proximal development. As a teacher, you should assign some tasks that your students can perform successfully only with help from others. Such assistance may come from more skilled individuals, such as adults or older students. However, students of equal ability can also work together on difficult assignments, thereby jointly accomplishing tasks that none of them might be able to accomplish on their own. Students with different ZPDs may sometimes need different tasks and assignments, so you will need to differentiate instruction. Provide sufficient support, or scaffolding, to enable students to perform challenging tasks successfully. As students become more adept at performing a task, scaffolding is ideally modified to nurture emerging skills. You can gradually withdraw some of these support mechanisms until students can do it on their own. For example, an elementary physical education teacher begins a lesson on tumbling by demonstrating forward and backward rolls in slow motion and physically guiding students through the correct movements. As the students become more skilled, she stands back from the mat and gives verbal feedback on how to improve. Have students work in small groups to study different subtopics falling within a general theme. The class then reassembles into new groups that include at least one representative from each of the previous groups. Within these new groups, the students teach one another the things they have learned. For example, in a unit on zoology, different groups of students become experts on different classes of invertebrates such as mollusks, segmented worms, and sponges. They then prepare illustrated books that they share with their classmates in other groups.